At 21, Jason Miller walked away from college. It wasn't because he was lazy or unintelligent. He felt trapped. Trapped by the crushing weight of student loans, rigid class schedules, and a system that felt like it was designed to hold him back, not help him succeed. He dreamed of a different life, one where he was in control, where he set his own hours, where he was truly free. But the moment he stepped off campus, reality hit him like a ton of bricks. He had no degree, $30,000 in student loan debt, barely any savings, and absolutely no safety net. Jason quickly learned that the freedom he craved came at a very steep price. That first year was absolutely brutal. He picked up part-time shifts at a local coffee shop, sometimes skipping meals just to make sure he could pay his rent. Every phone call with his parents felt like a fresh wave of shame washing over him. "Are you sure this is the right choice?" they'd ask, their voices filled with concern. He would nod, trying to convince them and himself that it was. But deep down, he was terrified he'd made a huge mistake. The turning point came one lonely night in his tiny apartment. He was surrounded by a mountain of unpaid bills, half-empty coffee cups, and the glow of his laptop screen. In that moment of quiet desperation, he had a stark realization: he had to make a choice. He could either let fear paralyze him, or he could choose to take action. Jason chose action. It wasn't some grand, perfectly laid out plan. It was just a decision to do something, anything. He started small, diving into research about online businesses. He spent his nights after long shifts at the coffee shop learning everything he could about e-commerce, digital marketing, and product development. His life became a relentless cycle: sleep at 2 a.m., wake up at 6 a.m., and do it all over again. Failure became his constant companion. His first attempts at running ads were a disaster. The products he chose didn't sell. His payment accounts were frozen for no clear reason. Every single day felt like an exhausting, uphill battle. While his friends were going out and having fun, and his old classmates were settling into stable careers, Jason was working alone in his apartment. The voice of doubt grew louder and louder. Maybe you quit college for nothing. Maybe you just don't have what it takes. But Jason refused to quit. It wasn't because he was lucky or had some secret advantage. It was because he had made a conscious decision: he was betting on himself. And slowly, after 6 months of relentless effort, small victories began to appear. First, 1 product sold. Then 2. Then 10. He started to understand what was working and what wasn't, and he optimized everything with a laser focus. By the end of that first year, he had a small but steady stream of income. It was just enough to pay his rent comfortably and start making extra payments on his student loans. It wasn't freedom yet, but it was a glimmer of hope. It was enough to keep him going. In his second year, things started to accelerate. Jason reinvested every single dollar he made back into the business. He hired his first virtual assistant to handle customer service. He finally figured out how to run profitable ad campaigns. His debt didn't define him. His fear certainly didn't define him. His actions did. Today, at 29, Jason owns a thriving online business. He mentors young entrepreneurs, helping them avoid the same mistakes he made. And he lives life completely on his own terms. He didn't find a get-rich-quick scheme. He didn't become an overnight sensation. He became disciplined. He became resilient. He became free. That's the truth that I think a lot of us need to hear: your past mistakes do not define you. The debt you carry does not define you. Your current circumstances do not define you. Your actions are what define you. Jason Miller didn't wait for permission to succeed. He just needed consistency, belief in himself, and the courage to start, even when all the odds were stacked against him. So if you're sitting there right now, doubting the choices you've made, remember Jason's story. You don't need a fancy degree. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start. Take one small step. Focus on one day at a time. Make one positive decision. That is how real, self-made success truly begins. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button. And subscribe for more content that will hopefully inspire you to take action. See you in the next one.